as some of you already know, I dislocated my shoulder on Sunday playing hockey. This is me in my lovely sling, which I will be wearing for at least 3 weeks and maybe 6. I've kind of got lucky with the outfit because I have these lovely button-up shirts I can put on over it, so I don't have to actually dress. And I found I actually had some sports bras, which I wear all the time anyway, that detach up here, which is nice because I'm not constantly trying to maneuver around this this horrible shoulder thing, which I'm not supposed to move, and believe me, it hurts, even when it's not moving. Anyway, so I wrote this really long post about this yesterday, this whole this thing happening with the dislocation when I was in a very depressed state of mind for a lot of reasons that aren't just about having dislocated my shoulder, which, believe me, is bad enough. But it occurred to me that there's, you might be, I had issues with my shoulder for a long time, since I was like 18. And I've known for a long time that one day I would probably dislocate it. In fact, I have an issue called subluxing, which is where the shoulder basically, it rolls out of its socket, but then rolls right back in. Which, as you imagine, is extremely painful, but the pain will generally only last for a couple of minutes. And then it slides back in, and then usually, my hand will be numb for a week or 2 afterward, and then it's fine, except, of course, every time you do that, you damage the joint a little bit more, which can help to lead to things like this dislocation. Now, I didn't even, at least it was at hockey, but I didn't even get a cool story out of it because I didn't crash into anybody. Nobody crashed into me. There was no fall even. It was purely, I was fighting for the puck between 2 other people, and I guess they won. Or at least they did when my shoulder went out and I started screaming bloody murder. Anyway, so I've known that this was going to be a problem, and the thing, what I hadn't really thought about, though, was that, if I ever did dislocate it, well, how would that actually work? And here we are. And now I'm learning how it actually works because suddenly I have one arm that I cannot use at all. In fact, you're not supposed to use it. They say that the risk of, there's not a substantial risk of re-dislocating it, but certainly a risk, which is increased for things like, when you're sleeping, which is a concern because I've subluxed my shoulder during sleep, just from rolling over without, just happening to turn over. And, one of the things I never would have thought about is you can't actually, how do you get in and out of bed? So I was fortunate in that the lady who was helping me, not the physician, but maybe a PA or a nurse, I wasn't really clear at the time. She had actually dislocated her shoulder not long before, and she recommended sleeping in a reclining chair. So those of you who saw my writing process blog post a while back, the chair that I have up on the roof that I like to work in, well, that's now in the bedroom with a comforter and a pillow on it, and that's where I sleep. But it makes it way easier because, of course, you don't think about it. How are you going to get out of bed? Because normally you just roll over, right? Well, you don't want to do that on your dislocated shoulder. However, it does make certain other things quite difficult. Today I did shower, which basically involved washing my hair, which I figured at least I'm clean, so this is a good time to make a video. And then, see, this is where it gets tricky. All right, come on, package. Everything just becomes a chore because, you're trying to do it with only one hand and not use the one that you're not supposed to be using. Well, sort of an irony of this struck me because, of course, this is how I live all the time. When my arthritis is bothering me, it's very often I can only use one hand, or I have limited, I can use them, it's just very painful. So I've actually retrained myself to do, it depends. There are a great deal of, there are a number of things that I only do two-handed. Any sort of weight-bearing activity I generally do two-handed, so it evens out the pressure on the different joints. Whereas then there are other things which I only do one-handed because if one of my hands is bothering me, and the other one is not, come on, tomato. Then naturally I want to not use the one that's bothering me. So it's kind of, even though it's sort of, this is really horrible. I'm not going to kid you. I'm not looking forward to it. But it's kind of funny because I think in some ways I actually am able to cope with it a little better than I would if I didn't already have all these problems, because it's not actually that much different from my regular life, which I think is kind of amusing. So today I'm handling it a little better than I was yesterday. I haven't decided if I'm going to put together, am I going to put this up or put my depressing post up first? I don't know. But maybe we'll see how I feel going forward.